Good morning, everyone. It's 10 a.m. I'd like to welcome everybody to the Limestone County Commission meeting and call it to order of July the 19th, 2021. Ellen, do we have any public comment?
We do. Jennifer Baxter with Athens Limestone Public Library.
Jennifer, you don't mind, come down to the microphone, please.
Make sure my phone's off.
How are you doing today?
Excellent. I will be flying to Puerto Rico tomorrow, so
Oh, that
gotta
is
get
real
through this
good.
one day.
Well, it's a little far for me to
Thank
ride on
you.
an airplane.
Okay. So,
Same time.
I've never done this before, but I wrote a book, basically. So I got here 7 months ago. Essentially, this is everything that I've learned since I've been at the library. I'm going to go over just a few quick things. I'm going to try and talk really fast to get through it. Page 3, there's an executive summary that gives you key takeaways of everything that has happened over the past fiscal year. I got here in December. I've looked at all the records and files. I pulled everything out. I tried to make a financial snapshot to understand where we were, where we are, and so that way I can plan where we're going to go. So if you look at page 5, this is the budget narrative. It kind of goes over the challenges that began in FY20 through FY21. It talks about the per capita total funding that Florence Public Library receives, that Decatur Library receives, in conjunction next to what we receive. If you go to page 6, these are budget highlights. It kind of goes into the in-depth things that I've done over the past fiscal year. We've done a reduction of personnel costs, the overall reduction of 8%. F22 budget is 2% lower than FY21 budget. It also talks about the Southern investments that I've heard come up over the past 31 years. The investment has generated $3 million, which is 1.5 times greater than the original investment, and that comprises 20% of our estimated FY22 income, which is the largest income that we receive. So it's probably best that it stays invested where it is. It goes into everything that we are going to receive. If you look at page 8, it kind of details everything we plan to spend. About 72% of our budget is actually spent on humans and their benefits and our utilities. So that's a large portion of our budget right there. And that includes, if you look at page 9, we've actually worked to reduce the personnel at the library. At one point before I got here, there was about 20 people. We are currently at 8 full-time employees for a total of 10.45 full-time employee equivalents. So that's a lot less humans. We're running at as minimal capacity of humans that we possibly can, while trying to also do good output. It goes over the historical funding losses that the library has seen over the last 2 years. We're looking at an estimated impact and total loss of $70,000 last year, $84,000 in FY21. It's a massive amount of lost of revenue. If you look at page 10, it goes over the organizational chart proposed for next fiscal year. Again, we've reduced our personnel costs by 8%, the total cost, and 14% of that is actually the cost that we pay, salaries. The next page I kind of want to highlight is page 11. It goes through everything that we've done over the past fiscal year to reduce costs and operational savings. This fiscal year, we're looking at a total operational savings of about $7,500, and by next year, at the end of FY23, we're looking at operational savings of a total of $18,000, just by some of the things that we've changed. You can read through all of that if you want. It goes over the 3 or 4 grants that I have applied for that may impact us in FY22 if we're lucky. If you look at page 13, you go over our library users. I just wanted to point out that 60% of our library users are county individuals, while 41% is city. You can go through the next few pages on your own. It goes over the collection development, which is our resources, digital resources, our books, the collection that you get those numbers every year, basically, of the collection and the programming. So I'm not going to go too much into detail on those. And again, you have the opportunity to review that on your own if you'd like to. One thing I do want to point out is that we did our summer reading program this year. We had on our summer reading kickoff party 300 attendees, which was a lot of people. We had 250 children sign up for our summer reading program this year, with a total of 1,400 books that they read over 6 weeks. So we were very excited about that. I have this in digital version if you wanted to get it for any reason digitally. One more thing I want to point out on page 16, I do talk about my personal long-term vision and what I see that we can possibly achieve over FY22. The 22, we're going to work on growing our outreach services, building rapport with the community, and continuing to build effective youth services programming and opportunities. But again, I know this is very long, but I felt like with all the changes that have occurred over the last few years, this is extremely important, not only to you as a funding authority, but to the city and the community and anybody else who's interested in what we've been doing.
Thank you, Jennifer.
I didn't even tell you how much we're asking for, but it's all in the book. We're asking for $80,000, which is what we received prior to when we were cut in funding.
All right.
So I hope this justifies that, and if it doesn't, if you have any questions, you can always contact me.
Thank you, Jennifer. Anybody have any questions for Jennifer?
I don't, well, I got a little bit. The FY22 proposed expenditure, $653,000. When we start doing this with anything, we were talking with a gentleman a minute ago about the percentage of our budget goes to this, from the sheriff's department to whatever it might be. Am I looking at this right, that your payroll is 48.7% of your budget, and the benefits for that payroll is 13.6%? So it would be a total of 63% of your budget goes to payroll and benefits for your employees. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay. That's the only question I got right now.
Okay. If you have any more, hopefully this will answer, but if not, you can contact me directly.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Jennifer. All righty. Ellen, do we have any more?
Yes, Rachel Smith with Athens Limestone County Family Resource Center.
All righty. Ms. Smith, if you don't mind, step down to the microphone. And you got something following you there.
Yeah. Got some stuff for you.
Are you?
Thank you.
Oh, she's a good guy.
She's a good guy? All right. Well, I know Tina does a great job down there, and maybe everything will be all right with Tina.
Thank you.
If there's ever a lady that does a lot with a little, it's Tina down there.
So I'm Rachel Smith. I am the board president for Athens Limestone County Family Resource Center. Tina cannot be here today. Unfortunately, she has COVID. So I have a statement here that she wants me to read. So as I read, just pretend I'm Tina who's reading this to you. And this is what she writes. To the Limestone County Commission. If I had known what God had in mind for me when I began volunteering at FRC in 2014, I would have turned the request down flat. But I didn't turn it down, or the paid position I was offered a couple months later. By the time I realized what a big task was in front of me, I was in too deep and completely invested. Almost 8 years later, I'm still in love with the center, and the vision planted in my heart still burns bright to make a difference in the lives of so many who need it. I continue to cling to a truth that has sustained me through many valleys and over numerous mountains while employed at FRC. God doesn't call the qualified, He qualifies the called. I began my employment at FRC extremely unqualified from a professional perspective, but perhaps overly qualified from a life experience standpoint. I believed then and still now that Limestone County residents need a place to go for solutions to problems that overwhelm them. I remember vividly standing in the middle of that wounded place when I first arrived. But since then, many wonderful things have happened there, and more are yet to come, as you will see evidence in the presentation I've provided. The pandemic has affected us all. The center has not only survived, but we have thrived. We remained open and available and served the entire time. And we should have, because that is why we exist. We have expanded services to help those most impacted, adjusted how we serve to continue to meet the needs, and added services where there is a gap. Another thing we have done is grown our board of directors. We have increased our board from 9 members to 14, and even have added a new technology committee to help ensure the board is able to meet on a regular basis. Limestone County is where I was born and raised, the place I could not wait to get away from as a rebellious young woman. Also the one I was embarrassed to come home to as an adult due to the consequences of that rebellion. I am forever grateful for the priceless opportunity and trust that has been bestowed on me by the FRC board and this community by allowing me to reestablish the center, as well as my own dignity here in my hometown. I am dedicated and committed to continue investing my heart and dreams into making the Family Resource Center a place where direction is given and lives are transformed. I can never say often enough how much I appreciate the opportunity and all it has added to my life to be allowed to share my experience, strength, and hope with fellow residents of this county. Also, for the awesome privilege of standing before you today on behalf of everyone who believes in and needs the Athens Limestone County Family Resource Center, we humbly ask that you again provide us with level funding of $20,000 plus utilities for the upcoming fiscal year. Thank you, Tina Cook.
Thank you. Anybody have any questions for Ms. Smith? All righty. Well, I will say this, Tina does an amazing job, and I mean, if you ever struggle in life or whatever, she is an inspiration to everybody. I mean, if you go down and nobody, that's one thing, she has a testimony, it's a great, I mean, if you ever have any issues in life, just a great person to hear her story.
Yeah.
And thank all the board for all y'all do.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else, Ellen?
We do not.
All right, thank you. Get all this out of the way here, and we'll be ready to go. Ellen, would you please call roll?
Commissioner Barksdale?
Here.
Commissioner Black?
Here.
Commissioner Townsend?
Here.
All right, thank you, ma'am. Mr. Keenan, would you lead us in our pledge, please, sir?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, sir. Thank y'all for being here today. All right. Let everybody get out of the way here. All right. We'll start out with the first thing on the agenda. I'll ask for a motion to approve the minutes from July the 6th of 2021. Do I have such a motion?
I'll make the motion.
Motion by Commissioner Black. Do I have a second? Second by Commissioner Townsend. Any discussion with any of the minutes? No discussion. I'll call for the vote.
Commissioner Black?
Aye.
Commissioner Townsend? Commissioner Barksdale?
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. Second on the agenda, I'll ask for a motion to approve claims in the amount of $529,734.92. Do I have such a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Motion by Commissioner Barksdale. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Black. Any discussion with it? No discussion. I'll call for the vote.
Commissioner Barksdale?
Aye.
Commissioner Black?
Aye.
Commissioner Townsend?
Motion carries unanimously. Do we have any conflicts of interest or anything coming from the commission today? Everybody's silent. I'll take that as a no. We have no resolutions and orders today. Under contracts, agreements, and grants, I'll ask for a motion to approve a contract with TARCOG Agency on Aging to consolidate Appropriations Act in the amount of $35,000 effective July the 1st of 2021 until December the 31st of 2021. Do I have such a motion?
I'll make the motion.
Motion by Commissioner. Second by Commissioner. Motion by Commissioner Black, second by Commissioner Barksdale. Any discussion with it? No discussion. I'll call for the vote.
Commissioner Black?
Aye.
Commissioner Barksdale?
Aye.
Commissioner Townsend?
Motion carries unanimously. We have no budget revisions, no emergency purchases, no board appointments, no award bids. Under personnel action, I'll ask for a motion to approve to hire Brian Christopher Ozer as a part-time school resource officer. Do I have such a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Motion by Commissioner Townsend. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Barksdale. Any discussion with him? No discussion. I'll call for the vote.
Commissioner Townsend?
Aye.
Commissioner Barksdale?
Aye.
Commissioner Black?
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. We have no merit increases today, and at this point, Engineer Mr. Massey.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. First, I'd like you guys to consider approving amending the paving schedule to include archives, parking lot, and the EMA parking lot.
All right, I'll ask for a motion as to pave the two parking lots as presented by Mr. Massey. Do I have such a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Motion by Commissioner Townsend. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Barksdale. Any discussion with either one of them? No discussion. I'll call for the vote.
Commissioner Townsend?
Aye.
Commissioner Barksdale?
Aye.
Commissioner Black?
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. Go ahead.
Second on the agenda is consideration of the Capshaw Grove subdivision Phase 2. This is a major subdivision for preliminary approval. It's 86 additional lots in District 2, east side of Lipscomb Road, approximately 2,800 feet south of Capshaw Road.
Okay. All right. I'll ask for a motion to approve the subdivision as submitted by Mr. Massey.
I'll make a motion.
Motion by Commissioner Barksdale. Have a second.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Black. Any discussion with it? No discussion. I'll call for the vote.
Commissioner Barksdale?
Aye.
Commissioner Black?
Aye.
Commissioner Townsend?
Motion carries unanimously. We have no other business, no scheduled public hearing. Report of officers. Commissioner Samet is not here today. He has gone to a conference, and let the record be known, he is gone. So, Commissioner Barksdale.
District 2 is looking forward to our second paving project of the year. For the next 10, 12 days, they'll be paving Burr Green Road So you may want to avoid that area, avoid that road going to work if you can. Probably help you and our paving crew. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Commissioner Black?
We just had the paving crew leave District 3. They did a fantastic job. One of the, we've got, bad roads all over the county, but one of the worst roads in my district was Hatchet Road. It was one of those roads that looked like something from 50 years ago. I mean, it was really, really bad. Farmers use it. It's a cut-through road for Browns Ferry Nuclear Power Plant employees, and we put a new surface on it and getting lots of calls. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Didn't know how many people actually used it. So I tip my hat to Mark and the paving crew for what they did in that area, because it's horrendous. Now it's not. So with that, we're behind. I talked to Commissioner Barstow and Darrell and LaDon on bush hogging. We've got so many other things that we're doing. We don't have enough employees to be able to put 2 guys bush hogging or even 1 guy bush hogging 5 days a week. So you get behind. With his district, it's even a little bit larger. I let him have a bush hog just to add to another tractor, so maybe he can get caught up to the point that I'm at, that Commissioner Bartzel's at. So we are cutting the size of the roads. We're taking care of them. We're weed eating and around the stop signs and everything that needs to be done. But it is, with the rain and with all the other stuff, it's just taking us a little bit longer. But if it takes us to Christmas, we will finish cutting all the sides of the road. So just want to let everybody know that. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Commissioner Black. Commissioner Townsend?
Yeah, all I got is signs on the right-of-way. For some reason, it seems like here in the last few weeks, I've got a lot of signs right in the right-of-way. I think Jason Black's had a lot of issues with that, but put them on light poles or whatever, it's in the right-of-way at the intersections. We can't, vehicles can't see, so it's causing a little bit of a problem. So we're out taking them down. So if you put them up, please don't put them in the right-of-way.
And we can't have a guy get off the tractor to pick up yard sale signs, so he's going to run over them, throw it everywhere, and throw the wire, wherever it goes. So
Right. So we just, if everybody could just, if you put out a sign like that, please go back and pick it up. That way we don't make a mess and litter and this, that, and the other. So, but anyway, that's all I got.
All right. Thank you, sir. First of all, I just want to thank everybody for being here today, and thank everybody for bringing in their budget appropriation and everything. And so with all that said, we will adjourn, but we will be back here at 1:30 for budget hearings this afternoon with all the department heads. So if anybody wants to, welcome to come back and join us at 1:30. So thank y'all. Thank everybody for being here today.